Humans have a deeply ingrained biological resistance to maintenance. Tell a child it is time to visit the dentist, and their immediate, primal instinct is often to seek cover, hiding under a bed, to avoid the intervention. We routinely view the upkeep of our personal ecosystem, the daily hygiene, the physical scrubbing, the medical checkups, as an exhausting chore. The brain processes these necessary maintenance tasks as threats to our immediate comfort, triggering a strong urge to escape them. If we cannot overcome this primal avoidance to manage the literal decay happening inside our mouths, we possess no foundational framework to manage the accumulating disorder in the wider world. Left completely unchecked, our bodies naturally lean toward entropy. Consuming high amounts of sweets without active mitigation creates an acidic environment that aggressively attacks the hardest substances in the human body, leading to immediate physical decay. This tooth cross-section shows how decay progresses. A bacterial layer forms, eroding the outer enamel shield to create cavities. But brushing provides a mechanical sweep, clearing the film and allowing the enamel to remineralize and restore its defenses. Stepping up to the sink and completing this highly repetitive task forces us to confront our own vulnerability. Mastering our personal hygiene establishes the absolute center of a widening circle of responsibility. Stabilizing our physical selves allows us to begin deciphering the rules of the spaces we inhabit. To do this, we observe a chaotic visual environment and begin practicing pattern recognition. Long before we can engineer buildings or repair complex machinery, our brains practice environmental literacy by isolating basic variables. We learn to spot a specific hue of blue or trace the 3 distinct intersecting lines of a triangle. This animation illustrates how we match those isolated shapes to functional roles. A red triangle is assigned to act as a roof for a structure, while a round yellow circle is assigned to act as a wheel to mobilize a vehicle. This sorting process is a vital cognitive stepping stone. By observing a jumbled mass of parts and correctly identifying exactly where each piece belongs, we develop the underlying logic needed to organize an unpredictable world. We then project that internal organizing logic outward into our immediate communities. Consider an agricultural space maintained by an elder who simply cannot keep up with the physical demands of the harvest on their own. Restoring that specific environment requires a coordinated application of shared labor. Fences must be painted to prevent the wood from rotting, scattered eggs must be systematically collected for food, and localized threats to the ecosystem must be identified. When a flock of crows threatens to consume the crops, passive observation fails. The community has to actively engineer a solution, like constructing a scarecrow to physically deter the birds and protect the shared resources. A functioning farm, or any local neighborhood, demands constant collective effort. Simply watching a problem unfold does nothing to stop the inevitable decay of a neglected space. When that shared effort collapses, personal neglect spills directly into public harm. An individual's decision to drop a piece of garbage might seem harmless in isolation, but those localized choices quickly accumulate into a physical hazard for everyone else. A discarded banana peel left on a public walkway instantly alters the environment. It creates an immediate physical tripping hazard, causing a passerby to suddenly lose traction and risk severe injury. Localized trash represents a failure of community empathy. Preventing these daily hazards requires shifting our behavior toward the strict systemic sorting of the waste we generate. The cognitive skill built by matching red triangles and yellow circles scales directly to the industrial level. A modern recycling factory operates on the exact same principles of pattern recognition applied to thousands of tons of material. This flowchart tracks material categories for planetary maintenance. We isolate paper into one stream, routing plastics and cans into separate hubs. When categorization breaks down, excess material overflows. Single-use plastics bypass the infrastructure, bleeding into rivers and suffocating oceans. Global pollution represents a massive, scaled-up failure to apply our most basic categorization and sorting skills to our daily consumption. The ultimate stakes of this systemic maintenance dictate the survival of the safari and its fragile apex wildlife. Swapping single-use plastics for a reusable bag or drinking from a refillable water bottle instead of an aluminum can acts as a direct intervention. These small actions insulate distant, vulnerable habitats from industrial runoff. The ongoing survival of tigers, eagles, and elephants is inextricably tied to our own behaviors. If we cannot manage our waste at the source, their environments will eventually be consumed by our excess. The logic of care holds true all the way down the chain. Protecting the sprawling savanna requires sorting the municipal recycling, which requires the cognitive ability to organize basic shapes, which rests firmly on the baseline discipline of brushing our own teeth. The distinct rules we instill in children provide an elegant, interconnected blueprint for a lifelong system of care, sustaining our individual bodies, our shared communities, and the entire planet.